Agumake. It was a journey to get here from Oklahoma City.
Wasn't the easiest.
We got some delayed flights. We had some road tripping.
Yes.
But don't fear. We got here. We are ready to go. The Oklahoma City Thunder have touched down, and the Indiana Pacers are back here at home. And just a couple of minutes ago, I sat down with Tyrese Halliburton for an exclusive interview. Guys, he was glad to have spent the night in his own bed, and he is gearing up here for Game 3.
Tyrese, this is the first NBA Finals that Indiana has hosted since 2000. You were like 3 months old.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be on the team that brings the finals back to Indianapolis?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think, when I got traded here, the big thing for me was just, making the Pacers fun again and making us successful. That was important for me. I wanted to be the best version of myself and help this team get back to where they're accustomed to being, which is winning basketball. So I'm really excited to be a part of the group that brings this team to the finals, but I don't think I'm satisfied by any means just being here. The point is to get here and win. So, it's exciting. The energy in the city has been amazing. You see it through social media. You feel it everywhere you go. So it's a lot of fun.
You said bring the joy back to basketball. That's why I love watching you play. You play with such joy, and I know you're a huge fan of WWE, but do you work to be a showman in this?
Well, I think that's just who I am as a person. I enjoy life. Basketball is a lot of fun for me, and I get paid a lot of money to play a child's game, so I don't take that for granted ever. I try not to, and I really just want to enjoy what I do. And I think part of basketball is entertainment, so I try to be a showman, entertainer when I can be, but keeping the main thing at the same time.
Let's go to Game 1. Richard Jefferson is on the broadcast. Do you know the moment? Yep. So you go up, you take the game-winning shot here. What would be the dagger? And he says, Tyrese Halliburton, there is no moment too big for Tyrese because he is the moment. And now you go to Basketball Reference, and literally your nickname is the moment. What do you think of that?
No, it's cool. It's cool. I think, every time that, you're able to experience such highs as a basketball player, the commentary changes, and there's always new nicknames, new stories, all these things come out. So that's a lot of fun. But, I think through the course of Game 1, I really struggled to get to, playing well. And I thought in the fourth quarter as a group, we just kept our head down, kept playing. And, ultimately the ball ended up in my hands to finish the game and just trying to make the right play.
You got another one in you?
Well, I hope not. I hope I hope it doesn't get to those if we can control it. But, if the moment's there, I'm always ready.
You talked about some of maybe those struggles, as you just said, in Game 1. We took an official count. You said the word paint, as in, I need to get to the paint, 8 times in your Game 2, after your Game 2, your interview there. Can you just paint a picture for me, like almost like we're inside a video game, of you're trying to get downhill? What does it look like? What are you seeing? You see Alex Cruz over here. Oh, Shai's over there. Can you just visually take me there?
Yeah, I think what this defense does so well is they're in to out at such a high level. So every time you're driving, it feels like there's more bodies than there really is, right? Like all those guys are so good at being in to out, being in 2 spots at once. They're all elite defenders. So, when I'm driving, I think even the slightest second of hesitation gives my defender time to get back in front of me and this defender time to get back out to the gap. So it feels like they're in more spots than they really are at times. And they really are, probably the best defense I've ever seen, in my career. But I still think I can do a much better job of, executing the game plan, getting downhill.
Do you happen to know over the last 2 years how many games you've had 10 or more drives against this OKC defense?
Well, by you asking that question, it's probably not very high. Maybe, 0. Okay, I was gonna say 1.
I mean, does that concern you? Does that worry you? Or you're like, no, we've watched the film and I'm ready for Game 3?
No, that doesn't concern me, honestly. I'm not too worried about what the past has really looked like. It just, for this series, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for me to be better. And watching the film, I think it's encouraging at times because you can go back and watch regular season film from this year, regular season film from last year, but nothing is like the time that we're in right now, So when you get 2 games under your belt, I feel like it gives you a great sample size of things that you can execute better in. I can be much better in all aspects, but I really feel like I control a lot of what's going on right now, and I have a lot of confidence.
Controlling kind of your own destiny. I appreciate, Tyrese, how transparent that you've been, particularly early on in the season, talking about how how you had the Olympics, and then you faced all of these criticisms, and for the first time in your career, this doubt creeped into your head, and you maybe started to listen to that a little bit. What was the specific criticism that maybe got stuck in your craw, and how did you move past that?
Yeah, I don't know if there was anything in specific. I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say at the end of the day, and I think there's a lot of commentary around me and our group as a whole, honestly, earlier in the year. And I think the big point was coming into the year, we had expectations to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals and have more playoff success. But everybody else's expectations were, oh, they're just going to repeat being the Hawks from a couple of years ago. They got lucky to get to the conference finals, and then they're not going to do very well. I mean, we were 2 weeks into the season, and people were saying, oh, they're not going to make the playoffs. Like, for me, being, feeling as if I'm the leader and, one of the guys at the forefront, I felt like I was letting our group down. For me, the biggest thing was just finding, where I could be better, how I could be better, and being honest, having honest conversations with people who, I really respect their opinions, because I think in the world right now, you get so many unwanted opinions, but you got to choose who you listen to. And so for me, the biggest thing was going and talking to, mental health professionals, my coaches, my friends and family, my teammates, just being honest, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. Help me, how can I help this group? Like, what are things that I can control? Because I can't always control making shots. I can't always control, certain things, but I control how hard I play, my attitude, certain things like that I'm really in control of. So just trying to do better at controlling the controllables, and, good things happen.
You said that, at the beginning of the year, I would argue still now, you're all the way in the finals, and still there are people saying the East is soft. Well, because the Pacers did it, we can do it.
Yeah.
And now what?
Yeah, I think when you're successful, people will always find a reason to discredit you. That's really how it goes. And the way that our sport is talked about sometimes, even by the people who are put in the most major positions to talk about it, is not always beneficial really for anybody, So I just think that's how things go sometimes. For us, it's about controlling what we can. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people have to say about our road to get here, where we are right now, how we're playing. We're 3 games away from being NBA champions, and that's the biggest thing. And you're just trying to take it a day at a time, because I don't know, if we get all the way to Game 7, that's in what is today, the 6th, 7th?
Today is the 10th.
10th, so 12. Damn, time's flying. But we're 12 days away from that. So time flying. We're just trying to enjoy where we are, be where our feet are, and control what we can, and we'll take the results.
How thoughtful is Tyrese? I mean, really, really enjoyed that conversation with him. And Legs, you can see the numbers here. He starred in the Pacers' 13 wins this postseason, but then he has a little bit of more mortal performances in Indiana's losses. You can see the drop-offs right there on your screen. So we know that he's the head of the Snakes. So fill in the blank for me here, Legs.
All right.
In Game 3, Tyrese Halliburton needs to be.
Can I give you 2 words? They kind of go together.
Okay.
Full throttle.
Full throttle.
Oh, I like this energy. I'm going to say fearless for 48.
Fearless for 48. We're doing all sorts of different, but in order to be full throttle, in order to be fearless, we were talking about this on the show yesterday, right, Shai, about Tyrese Halliburton needs to be able to get downhill. And we didn't come up with a great solution of how he's able to do that, Legs. Do you have one for us?
There's 2 things that he needs and he relies upon. It's all about forward progress. And some of that means catching outlet passes, moving up the floor. He has not done that through the first 2 games of the series. And that's a knack. It's an art form, really, to see where those pockets of gaps are. The other thing is he needs more space in the middle of the floor as he's coming up. It feels like he's getting pushed toward the sidelines a lot. As a result, he's playing more sideline to sideline. I'm not going to say that this is easy. Obviously, this is the best defensive team in the league. They've got more guys that are elite on-ball defenders with lateral quickness than anybody else in the league. But what I'm saying is he has a mentality about him, and the reason that we bring these things up because we believe that he can do it. And we see how loud he is on those nights when you're feeling Tyrese Halliburton. And then there's times when he's kind of quiet. You don't feel him as much. I don't think they can win the series unless he is full throttle, playing like his hair is on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a visual right there. But you're right. It's all about forward progress. And I think you can take a lot from the 4th quarter of Game 2 where he went 5 for 6 because, again, I say he needs to be fearless for 48. Someone needs to just tell him, hey, it's the 4th quarter in the 1st because these types of plays will be great. My coach used to tell me all the time, sprint to score. There's an excellent back screen that allows Tyrese Halliburton to get backdoor. Beautiful shot.
feeling heading into game 3. We're going to check in with the MVP himself.